We already discussed that you cannot tell a non-Jew to work for you on Shabbos, and there's different ways that it's prohibited, and some are more serious than others. So, for example, if you tell a non-Jew to directly on Shabbos to do work for you, that's for sure prohibited. That's the worst level of asking a non-Jew. And also if he's being hired for the day or for the week, he's getting paid and it's obvious that he needs to come on Shabbos also, as opposed to he's getting hired for the job, so he's getting hired for the day, that's also considered the worst level. Worst meaning, in other words, we discussed that the Isser of telling a non-Jew to work on Shabbos is called the Isser of Shlichus. It's like Shlichus. Rabbinically, it's considered Shlichus. It's as if you're doing it in a certain way. If a non-Jew does work by himself for you on Shabbos, and the work that he's doing is that you should benefit directly from it, then it's on the same level, even though you didn't tell him. People think that I just hint him, it's okay. No. There are situations where you can hint, but there are many situations that hinting doesn't work. And even if the guy comes by himself, you have to stop him from doing it. That is when you're benefiting, when he's doing work for you that you could benefit from the work itself, like lighting a candle, lighting a fire, putting on the lights. We're going to benefit from the malach itself, and he's doing it for you. You need to stop him from doing it.
What if you don't know he's doing it?
If you don't know he's doing it, then you don't know, and he's doing it for you.
Yeah.
How do you know he did it for you?
You don't know. You don't know, I guess. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's a good question. But let me add another piece of information, and that is, if there's already lights on, and you're just asking him, I'm sorry, not asking if he's coming by himself, you're hinting to him, or he's coming on his own, and there's already lights on. I think we discussed it last time. We showed it over here, right? We showed, huh?
I'm sorry, I'm just listening to the
Oh,
door.
okay. Turn the lights off. So I showed you here that some of the lights are off and some are on. You still have some light, but you want more light. Then it's not called benefiting from the malach itself. Then it's okay. Then he can do it. He can even tell, it's dark in here. Then it's okay, because it's not called benefiting from the malach itself, because there is some lights on already. So that's permitted. You gonna ask something?
No.
Okay. So what situation can you tell a can you hint to a non-Jew? Do you remember that? How you could hint to a non-Jew? That's if you're not benefiting from the malacha itself. You're not benefiting from the result.
Also, isn't it better if it's a derabanan instead of a deraisa or something like that? Like,
No, there's a difference between a rice and rabbanon in terms when there's a leniency to tell them directly, but if there's no leniency, there really is no difference, because you can't have a goy do work for you on Shabbos, even if it's midrabanan. So that would be in a specific situation when you're looking for leniency, to ask them directly, and to be a difference between the raisa or midrabanan. We discussed about kablanus, right? Kablanus means a contractor, which over here would mean he's getting paid for the job. If he's getting paid for the job, then it's okay for the guy to work for you on Shabbos, because he's getting paid for the job itself. So he's not doing it for you, he's doing it for himself. But there are conditions involved. You remember the conditions? In what situation you're allowed to have him work for you on Shabbos?
I remember them from learning previously, but I'm not sure if this is what we're talking about right now.
Okay.
I think one of them is that the work has to be done for Shabbos, as in like, but I could be mixing it up with something else, as in like, if he's contracted to do something for you, then it had to start, like it had to be a lump sum, like it had to start before Shabbos or something, or does that just have to do with being paid on? Paid for
That's about
Shabbos?
earning money on Shabbos. That's something else. Even work that you're allowed to do on Shabbos, you cannot earn money from Shabbos. But here, he's working for you on Shabbos, and we're saying it's permitted. So the conditions are, first of all, you cannot tell him to do it on Shabbos. You cannot tell him to do it on before Shabbos during Shabbos. I said to do it, can't tell him to do it on Shabbos. I mean, even during the week, you cannot tell him to do it on Shabbos. You can't direct him to do it on Shabbos. You have to leave it up to him. So you give him the job before Shabbos, you go over to him and you tell him, even right before Shabbos, you could tell him that I would like you to, whatever job you have for him, and you're paying him, he's going to fix something, he's going to build something for you, and you're going to pay him for the job. When you know he's going to do it on Shabbos, then it's okay, because you're not telling him to do it on Shabbos, you're not giving him a deadline, which means, oh, he needs to do it on Shabbos. And you cannot do it in your house. You cannot do it inside your house. If he's working in your house, that's a no-no.
Can't be on your property?
Can't be, your property is the same. Your property is the same thing. Property is worse because it's outdoors. People could see. But you can't have a guy working on your house on Shabbos. Because people outside see. That's even worse.
I'm confused, because like, oh, are you just talking about the situation of like, let's say you drop them off the cleaners, but you're like, you're not sure if they're gonna like do it over Shabbos, that kind of thing?
That's a classical example. That's a practical example. You're dropping it up before Shabbos, and you know they're going to do it on Shabbos, but you're not telling them to do it on Shabbos. So they're doing it for themselves. That's the time that they want to do it.
Because otherwise someone would supply, like, he can't be on your property, can't be in your house, like.
Someone is doing construction.
They're
doing your garden.
Uh-huh.
They're doing your garden, the gardening, they're fixing your house. That's for sure, because that's when it's in public, it's even worse, and has more serious consequences. Like in Shulchan Aruch it says, if a guy built your house on Shabbos, you can't live in your house. Okay, there's details involved, but it's far worse. But even inside your house, you can't have him work because there's a concern of marasayim, which means someone can walk into your house and will notice what's going on and will suspect you of what? Suspect you of hiring him in a way that is prohibited. What do you mean hiring is prohibited? Because if you hire a guy and you're paying by the day, then that's totally prohibited. Then really he's getting paid for the job. So in essence, I know ideally it's not really an issue in itself because he's getting paid for the job. But people might suspect you that you're doing it the wrong way. That's why if it's in your house, people will notice, people can't notice it. People can't walk in. If it's in a guy's house, no one knows. So as long as you didn't tell them, oh, I need to have it by a certain time, and you don't tell him directly, okay, I want you to do it on Shabbos. So he's doing it because that's the time he wants to do it. Now, we discussed yesterday that that's only if he's getting paid for the job. In other words, whatever we discussed here, that it's 100% permitted to give him right before Shabbos, that's if he's getting paid for the job. But if he's not getting paid for the job, then it can become an issue. It can, and that is when, if you give it to him on Friday, and there is not enough time for him to finish the job before Shabbos. So if he's not getting paid for the job, no, he's doing a favor. That means he's doing a favor. He's not getting paid now. He's not getting paid. So why is he doing it for you? So here, if you give it to him on Thursday, it's okay, because then it's not so obvious that the B is that it gives the impression like he's doing it for you. So it's not so when you're giving it to him on Friday, then there has to be enough time for it to be done before Shabbos. But if you give it to him on Thursday, then it's okay. Okay, now, let's discuss something else that I actually not discussed yesterday. Let's discuss something new. And that is, question. If the guy does something for himself, can you benefit from it? He's doing it for himself. He opens up the lights on Shabbos. It was pitch dark in the room, and he opens up the lights for himself, and now you're going to benefit from it. He didn't do it for you. He did it for himself. Can you benefit from it? He did work on Shabbos.
Think so?
Yeah, he did it for himself, right?
Yeah.
He did it for himself. He worked for himself, and he can't benefit from what he does from you, but he does it for himself. It's okay. Now, what about if he cooks water, puts up hot water for himself, and now there's some leftover water. So now, can you benefit from it?
We actually have this happen. I don't know. Yes, I think.
So this is going to be different.
Yeah.
When he's putting on a light, that's okay. When he's doing an action that covers many people, in other words, that action is not just anyone can benefit from it. It's not exclusive. Meaning, if you put on lights, it's not like, okay, the lights is only there isn't so many lights in. There's a lot of people, it's not going to be enough light for everyone. Imagine if you pack up this room with 200 people, right? How many lights are there, right? So you're going to say, well, there isn't enough lights for everyone. The light gives light for everyone, right? That's why it's okay. What does that do with that? Because the point is, if it's, let's say, it's cooking water, the more people, more water. So if you're going to be allowed, if we're going to allow you to benefit from it, what can happen is next time you will tell him directly, or more, he'll do it himself for you. He'll realize, oh, you're benefiting from the water, and let's say he knows you. Talking about it's an acquaintance. You know each other well. So if he sees that you're using the water, he's going to say, oh, you want water? I'll cook up water for you. Now it's going to cause that he's going to do malacha for you on Shabbos. So if you don't know each other, no connection with them, he's just a random guy, no relationship at all, then it's okay. But if you know each other, then Chacham say you can't drink the water. You cannot drink the water. Because if we allow you to drink the water, you might notice it.
Yeah.
And he's going to say, oh, there isn't enough water. You're taking it though there wasn't enough water. Oh, let me cook up more water. Or even if there is enough, he's going to say, oh, you okay. He'll realize, oh, another person will come in, we need more water. So that's why you're not allowed to benefit from the water.
So we had this actually happen over, I think it's either the first Sukkot or Simchas Torah dorm. Our hot water room was turned off by our cleaning lady. Like she was cleaning, like she came in during the day, and like she accidentally she turned it off. Like, she actually unplugged it, and like we told her, like we hinted to her, we said like, oh, it's off, that kind of thing, and she plugged it back in. She took it back on. And we had this whole shiloh that we had to ask like the Rav to see if it was okay for us to still have the water after it had been like cooked again, like after she had turned it on.
It was turned off for a long time.
Yeah, like it wasn't warm anymore. Like it
wasn't warm anymore?
No, but it was on Yom Tov, so we were like, okay, whatever. So she put it back
Yom
in.
Tov is different. Yom Tov could be okay, so if you think about it, Shabbos would for sure be a problem.
Right.
Shabbos would be a problem, but Yom Tov you're allowed to cook, but the issue is electric, and the Yom Tov could be there's a leniency. We have what did they say? The result.
I don't know if
the result was that they said it's okay.
They said it was fine, but I don't know if it was like a bidyavet type of thing.
To think about it, it could be that if electricity is rabbinic and it's considered Yom Tov, there can be theoretically a leniency. I could see the leniency. We have to think about it. Yeah.
But it's not something that you would like hold by often.
No, Chatchila, you don't. I want. Okay. Chatchila, you don't do such a thing. For sure, you're not. They shouldn't do it, but they did it already. It's different. Shabbos would be out of the question.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so other things we discussed already. So we discussed about public, someone working in public, if you're a non-Jew, a guy working for you in public, like building a house, that's prohibited. And yesterday I mentioned a story, I don't know if I should repeat it again, because we said it yesterday. None of you were here. So repeat it again. The story was that there was a time when Rabbi Kiva was a city that they went out, that the city burnt down, they had to rebuild all the houses. And you're not allowed to build you're not allowed to go building for you on Shabbos. You're not allowed to do that, as we discussed. But there was the big shot of the city, like one of the big rich people, and he wanted to he had his house being built on Shabbos by a guy. But Akiva warned him and told him, you're not allowed to do such a thing. And he spoke to him and he spoke to him and he would refuse to listen. And was that and Akiva told people that he's not going to end up benefiting from the house. It's interesting thing. In Allah it says that if a guy builds a house on Shabbos, you're actually not allowed to benefit from it. That's the halacha. You're not allowed to live in that house. This was built on Shabbos.
Like ever?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So if he's a contractor, meaning he's getting paid for the job, then there may be a little more leniencies over there. But the Alter Rebbe does mention that one should be strict. If even if he did it as a maybe he's getting paid for the job because it was done in public. So the Alter Rebbe actually said that says that one should be strict, even though halachically it's not prohibited. For sure, it can't be done. That's for sure. You can't have him do it on Shabbos. Don't matter if it was done. Could you live in that house? If all the goyim are getting paid for the job, not per day, then there is a leniency. But the Alter Rebbe says the proper thing is to be strict, not to benefit from this house.
But I'm sure like every single house out there that like people are buying has had work done to it on Shabbos.
Which house?
It was built. I'm saying.
You mean a random house that you buy?
Yeah.
But the issue is when he's doing it for the Jew. It's not about that it was built on Shabbos. He's working for the Jew. You hire him. Now, Rabbi Kiva, when he did what? What happened was Rabbi Kiva told someone he's not going to end up benefiting from it. Now, in Allah it says that it's proper to be strict, not to benefit, right? So he said he won't end up benefiting. Now, what do you mean by that? This person doesn't care anyways. He doesn't care. Yeah. The end was they found termites in the beams in the foundation of the house. It was rotting away and had to knock down the whole house. So because he didn't listen to what halacha says, and Kiva warned him, it resulted in actually Torah took hold of the situation that he actually didn't benefit. He couldn't benefit. Kiva was a very special person. He was a big tzaddik, very holy person. There's a similar, and you find similar stories with him. There's a story with him, the woman that was an aguna. She heard of an aguna. She never knows such a thing. An aguna, right? The husband's going to give it. It's almost like a murder. Like you're keeping your wife stuck like that. He was supposed to give. Now there are situations when you're not obligated to give a divorce to your wife, depending on circumstances. There can be reasons why you don't have to. Yeah. The situation, it came to Rabbi Kiva says you are required to give her a get because of circumstances. You are required. You need to give her a get. You need to divorce him. He said no. Kiva spoke to him and explained to him and encouraged him. He said that you have to do the right thing. What Torah wants you to do, you need to divorce him. It's wrong to do such a thing. Rabbi Akiva did his best to encourage him and to press upon him to do the right thing, but he refused. Now here you see how tzaddikim that is so connected to Hashem and Torah that how they bring down a similar thing to what happened in this story. He told her that it says in the Gemara, it's a Mishnah, that there's two ways how a wife gets freed from her husband. One of them is by divorce, one is when the husband dies. You could pick which one you want. You could choose. That's what he told him. Told her you could choose whichever. I don't know the exact words. So if you're focusing on the wording, it's the content. He gave him the message. In other words, we have to understand before we hear the story. People think that Torah is. People have this thing, here in America, that everything's about being nice, liberal, and kind to every person, no matter what he is. The biggest criminal, biggest crook. You have to be nice to everyone. Everyone is good, and there's no such thing as everyone is equal. The Torah is not like that. Of course, this concept of love. You have to love every person and accept every person. But it's such a concept that sometimes a person who's not behaving properly is such a concept of capital punishment in the Torah. It's rare, but it's such a concept. And Torah is chesed, Torah of kindness, and kindness means to every single person and to be fair to everyone. If a person doesn't act the way he's supposed to, and there are consequences. And Rabbi Akiva is telling him that this is what Torah says. You got to do. You can't do such a thing to your wife. That's like murder. Murder during lifetime. Even worse. He said those words, but he explained to him. What are you doing? And first, sometimes people in situations that they're so stuck in their. So caught up with their emotions and what they feel is right, what the spouse did to them, that they're stuck. And so Kirega told him, the Torah says it. It's not his thing. Torah, Gemara says, Halacha says, there's two ways how a wife frees himself. Exact words that he said, choose and nobody, but he said again, and the person was stubborn. Person left Rabbi Akiva's house, and on the way something happened. He tripped, he fell into a pit. I don't know exactly what happened. He bumped his head somewhere. He dropped dead. Now, who did it? Torah did it. Torah says this is how a woman frees herself. Torah says a woman is supposed to be supposed to be a hostage, supposed to be stuck. That's not Torah. You can't kill someone like that. So Akiva tried his best, and he said, "This is the Torah says. Please choose the right way. Your choice. Not do anything. Give him. Tell him you could choose. You want to now commit suicide. What do you want to do? Choose the right thing. Their brains. I'll tell you another story. Rabbi Akiva. I'm talking about Rabbi Akiva again. To share another story. So you'll see the broadness. Torah is, like I said, Torah is about caring about every single person, and sometimes we have to come. Sometimes it sounds like you're coming down hard, but that's the right thing. Now you see another angle of Rabbi Akiva, which is a very fascinating story. So Rabbi Akiva was sitting one night with his son, and they were discussing Torah. The Gemara, they're going in real depth, really going through, and then there's a knock on the door late at night. Open up the door, and the woman's standing there. And she looks totally, really desperate. Says, "What's the matter?" Says that the pirates, those days they didn't live by the peninsula, and they rented a piece of land, and if you didn't pay the rent, they'd throw you into the dungeon, and sometimes even worse, throw you into a pit, whatever, and then sometimes they would kill them also if they didn't like, if they weren't getting the money back. How are they supposed to get the money back? It was in the pit, but it was really bad. He says she starts crying. They didn't have the rent. My husband's thrown to the pit, and the pirates threatens that if she doesn't go out and raise the money by a certain time, he will be killed. She's crying. He's in the middle of discussing Torah, but to save someone's life. She looks at her son, tells her son. She tells the woman, I'll take care of it. Asked her where she lives. Says, I'll take care of it. We'll do something. What's she gonna do? Money. Tell the son, come, put on your coat. We're walking. Where are we going? He doesn't come. He walks, he doesn't know. Where's he gonna walk? He walks with his father all the way to the edge of the town. By the edge of the town, there was a casino where they would gamble. So again, this casino was full of a lot of Jewish people who were not religious. Back then, there was also Jews that weren't religious. Not only these days. It was and they were gambling. These people had a lot of money. They were gambling, having a great time. And so we're going to walk to this place, this casino, for Yidden and drinking. Those are drinking, and they gambling and doing all these things that you're not supposed to do. And we're going inside. Once the son King comes in, people knew he was. He was the governor of the town, but they knew who he was. But they had their own life, Okay. Bangs on the table. This rabbi of the town is here. It's going to talk to us. He starts talking to them about, there's a Jewish person who's about to be killed, and we have to save his life because he gives a whole speech about the importance of please help out. And they all gave money. All of them gave money. Collected need a lot of money to save this Jew. And he got all the money together. Then he gave it to his son, and he told his son exactly where to go to bring the money to this woman to save this Yid. He says, go bring it. Okay, I'm going. Looked at his father. I'll wait for you. I'm not going to walk myself. We'll go together. He says, no, I'm staying here. You go. You're staying here. You're staying here. What are you staying here for? So you go. He leaves. Starts and Kiveg, look at it. He got all the money. Kiveg is still standing there. Look at him. There's another speech now. Now he says like this. He says, I want you to know, it's been a while, I know exactly what's going on over here. You all doing things that you're not supposed to, you're gambling and all the other things that you're doing. You're going against Torah, you're not doing mitzvahs. And it's about time you have to all repent. I'm sure the speech had more to it than what I'm saying. And Kiveg is talking, it's tzaddik, he's like things are coming from the heart, not just the way I'm saying it. We don't have a recording, so I'm just And then listening, people getting upset. Some of the people get up and say, Rabbi, this is what you did to us, right? First you didn't come and give us the speech first, and then ask for money. First you got our money. Now you have our money, now you feel you got our money anyways. Now you could scream at us and tell us what to do. What kind of nerve do you have? You would say, no. That's not why I did it this way. That wasn't my intention, because first I get your money because I'm going to give the speech first and we'll get money. No. Now that you gave money and you did a mitzvah, so now your heart opened up. Your heart opened up to Torah. Heart opened up to Hashem. Now you did a mitzvah. Now I'm able to get into you and wake you up to keep Torah mitzvahs. That's why it is this way. And he spoke to them. The way the story goes is they all became Shem Torah mitzvahs. They all did children. To Keichel Tzaddik. They all did children. So that was Rabbi Kiveg. He lived in the times of the Mitzvah Rebbe. And he was actually he wasn't a chassid of the Mitzvah Rebbe, but they say he was by he was by a maimer of the Mitzvah Rebbe. The Mitzvah Rebbe said a maimer. And he said that although he never heard the whatever speak in Nigla, right? The Nigla, the revealed part of it, like the Gemara and Shulchan never heard him. But he could tell from from the depth of the Maimon that he was listening to, that he must be a tremendous Talmud Chacham just from hearing him say the Maimon. So he had a great respect for whatever himself didn't become a chassid, but in those days there were a lot of great people who were great people in their own right at a very high level, but for whatever reason they didn't become chassidim, whatever the reason was. But he was Kivega was a tremendous person. You see from all these stories who he was. There's another story also. I think it was also to Rabbi Kivega. I think it was with him. If not, the story happened. If not, it was with another great person. And that story is actually directly related to this. Because the halacha is, oh, okay, I didn't mention this halacha yet. That is, if a guy lights a candle for you, you're not allowed to benefit from it. We spoke about if it's in public, but even that's for stay, can't benefit forever. At the house, what we discussed. We discussed about the house. If a guy has a house, that's he can never. But if a guy lights a candle in a Jewish house, let's say it's pitch dark, and he lights a candle for you. It was pitch dark. You're not allowed. It's supposed to stop him. But if he did, you're not allowed to benefit. Allah says you're not allowed to benefit. There's a story, and I think it was with Rabbi Kivega, we have with some other Godel, great person. But the story is a story that happened. Kivega walks into his house one night, and there's a candle lit. And he's walking to the house, and you know how you walk in the dark? You're like walking, and you're like, he's walking as if it's pitch dark, like he doesn't know where he's walking. He's walking slowly, like what's going on. It says he can't see. It's dark. Got scared. The person says he can't see it. Can understand what's going on. He looked fine. It didn't look like something happened to him, right? And can't see. Till they realized the candle went out, and they asked the guy to light it. Now, halacha says you're not allowed to benefit, but because the Kivega is on such a level, he couldn't see the light. Because you're not allowed to benefit, so Torah has such an effect on him, this thing not allowed to benefit, that he actually didn't see the light. It was actually dark for him. He couldn't see the light.